Hey y'all. Hey, just want to throw a couple thoughts at you while you work on your assignment for leadership cohort this Thursday that's coming up. The idea is we're doing a piece of the life plan that we've worked on a little bit before, but the idea is as you create your connect to God piece of the life plan, it can be, and I faced this as I was working on mine yesterday. It could turn into just a to-do list that you're finishing off as an assignment for leadership cohort, or it could be something that you really lean into and it could be really useful for you for this semester. And so my hope is it's the latter. But in order for it to be that, I found for myself I needed to do a couple things to prepare my heart for it, so that it didn't turn into something I was trying to do for somebody else, or so that when I met with this group I'd have some eloquent things to talk about. Like, who cares what it looks like? It needs to be personal to you, and it needs to be something that the Lord is instilling in you. But how do we quiet ourselves enough to become aware of that? And so the first thing is to not skip over the why. We talk about this process starting with awareness and then leading to vision and then strategy and then action. But this awareness piece could get really easily glossed over. But your vision and your strategy and your action have to come from a place of understanding what's going on in your heart. And so there's a couple questions that might be helpful to start. As you kind of look into what's God actually doing in your heart and in your life right now, to be able to then create vision out of, or pray that He would give you vision out of. And then even as you're starting to look for this, piece of awareness, I'd encourage two things. Is one, to unplug, turn off the TV, get off by yourself somehow, carve out, even if it's just a half an hour, just to be quiet and to listen and to process through this versus trying to do it on the go, because it's not in those times on the go that really God usually speaks to us. There's too much going on. So unplug. Second thing is to ask. To really ask God that He would make this a meaningful thing, that it's not just going through the motions, because if it is just to finish an assignment, it won't mean much. So unplug and ask. And then the second from there, some questions that'll help you with that awareness piece. One is, what do I need to do? And that's not necessarily what task lists or things like that, but if I asked you, what do you really need to grow? What do you really need to be thinking about? When I asked myself that, it actually made me delve into some things and look back a little bit to my past and go, what are some patterns in my life that maybe the Lord wants to put before me right now that I've ignored for a while, or it's easy to kind of think about other things. And I just jotted some notes. The second thing was, what's in my way? What are the obstacles to growth, maybe in some of those areas of what I really need, what God would say I really need in my life right now? And so what's getting in the way? What are the hindrances that are there? And, for me, I saw some stuff like, I have some things that rattle around in my head when I get into a situation that aren't what God would say about me or what God would say about the situation. They're my own stuff. And so I started to just make notes about all that. And then what needs to go? Am I held hostage by anything in my past? Do I have some misunderstandings about myself or God? Do I have some should-do lists or could-do lists that really are hindering me from seeing growth in the future from the Lord? Write that stuff out. And then as you kind of distill all those things, what you're going to see is you're going to see something rise to the surface, a theme, a pattern, or whatever it may be. And it's in that theme and that pattern that the Lord's going to start to speak into you what He really wants you to hear when you lead forward into the future. That He would have, ultimately the vision for listening to His words and acting upon them. And I would encourage you to think through that one or two things that really rise to the surface, and that's where your vision should come from. And then in that, to distill those one or two things and go, what are some next steps with those one or two things? Keeping it simple, because we can't concentrate on too many things at one time, but then to play out some strategy and some initial action in those areas. But the more simple and focused that it is, coming from a true place of awareness, the more meaningful it's going to be. So I hope this is meaningful for you. I hope you keep it simple. I hope it really laser focuses something that the Lord might want to speak to you in this context and area of your life in connecting with Him. So helpful tidbits as you dive into your homework for this week. We'll see you on Thursday. Look forward to discussing it with you.